Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
I have an announcement to make.
Okay, good.
We performed a couple of scientific polls with our audience to determine the finalists. I have some results for you. Would you like to hear the results?
Tell me the result, because I can't look at our Patreon page.
Yes.
Because Patreon has strange rules about account logins.
Yes. You could just be a patron.
No, I'm not giving money to this podcast.
Anyway, the first matchup was between Final Fantasy Tactics and Front Mission, which we just discussed a couple podcasts ago. The Final Fantasy Tactics won about 79% of the vote there. So the people do not want Wanzers. No
Front
Wanzers.
Mission in the trash with the garbage.
Yes, throw it in the trash. No wargasms for you today. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. And the second matchup was actually a surprising result. It was Tactics Ogre versus a game called Valkyria Chronicles for the PlayStation 3.
Or 4.
Or PC. I expected Tactics Ogre to come out with a relatively strong victory, but nay. Valkyria Chronicles won by about 4 points.
Matsuno political dramas are only preferred with a Final Fantasy name attached.
Yes, but branding, right? Am I right?
I think
Marketing,
so.
Branding. So the final matchup will be Final Fantasy Tactics versus Valkyria Chronicles. Which one do you want to win, Eric?
I don't give a shit.
I don't either. I don't give a shit either. I like both games a lot. Final Fantasy Tactics, of course, we've talked about before. Valkyria Chronicles was one of the first PS3 generation games that I played that was like, oh, okay, Japanese games can be good again.
I played like 6 hours of it on PS4 when it came out in 2016.
I think you would like it. I did
like it.
Tactics, I think you will also like it, but you're going to have to become uncomfortable for a little bit.
Plus, Valkyria Chronicles, if that wins, that's also a stealth nod to Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah, there's some Skies of Arcadia nods in there as well. So we'll see who wins, and we'll report back in a future episode of Retrograde Amnesia. Would you like to hear some hot sounds that I'm recording?
Push button.
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast discussing classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5. My name is Chris. Crisp. My name is Chris, and I'm joined by a pain as pleasing as your sigh, Eric.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank me.
As always, we are joined by the RealNet, a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live via a secret audio feed at patreon.com/retroam.
We're also joined by the FakeNet, a web page from the computer that talks.
Initializing FakeNet. Error code 5793. Incompatible data. Please call Arthur F. Google for support and replacement parts.
We're trying to get away from the AI branding, Chris. It's not really looking well for our estimations.
Oh,
of the
just
show.
because of, AI's poop in the toilet right now?
Shit everywhere,
yeah. Well, we are
allegedly
stealing the voice from a evil corporation, so it's fine.
Well, borrowing. We can return it whenever we'd like.
That's true. So sorry about that, FakeNet. You're not stolen.
I will remain as I am forever while your children steal away your life.
FakeNet is the treasure that cannot be stolen.
That's true.
Yes.
ROC, do not copy.
Speaking of OCs.
Song of Nephilim?
Song of Nephilim.
How is that? You know what? I don't care.
FakeNet, what does OC stand for in that context?
Initializing FakeNet. Outrageous crap from your mouth.
Thank you.
So we just finished doing the dungeon part, and now it's time to do the cutscene boss fight part?
Yeah, we finished doing the bad part, and we're going to do the good part now.
Mm-hmm.
We've arrived at the elevator, right?
We open in a dim, candlelit room. There's a throne, and Albedo is seated on it, and his music, Albedo, plays.
Can we talk briefly about the throne before we proceed?
What's it look like? Why is it there? Do you think he installed this, or he found it here? Was this Mizrahi's throne, Chris?
I want you to answer that question after I tell you what the throne is.
Okay.
Because you can only really tell closely what it is if you look at the concept art, which I have right here, and I can show you later, but I'm going to describe it to you.
Yeah, it's
instead.
an audio podcast. You can't show it to anyone.
Let's call it a sculpture of a nude woman doing a cat stretch.
Fuck yeah.
And in the concept art, it is a woman with a head. In the game, the woman appears to be decapitated.
Good.
You answer your own question. Do you think Albedo installed that himself?
I think he cut the head off.
Okay.
I think he found it as like, well, you know what? I need one tiny adjustment to this thing.
Yeah.
And then sliced the head off like he slices his own head off.
I looked through this whole goddamn art book to see if there would be any good content for the audio podcast, and that's what I found.
Did you get like Geiger influences on that? But like for ladies?
Maybe. I really was trying to find some sort of analog for it. I couldn't place it. It was just fucked up guy shit in that room. He brought the sculptures and he brought the candles, I think both.
If this podcast ever takes off, full-time job, supersonic, do you want to get those as chairs we sit in?
Yes.
I do too.
Yes, we will do that. Except for they will be decapitated nude bodies of ourselves.
Excellent. I'll sit in yours and you sit in mine.
Yes.
Great. Junior does not live for this shit,
No.
but Albedo is especially ready for it.
Please spare me from any trite lines like, "You're still alive?" Life and death are merely empty words, lacking any power over me.
Yeah.
By the way, did you ever bother telling the girl? Does she know that we're monsters, both you and I?
Were you confused because you're like, Momo's with us and he's holding Momo?
He's not holding Momo, he's holding a Kirschwasser.
No, he's holding Momo.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like I would have noticed that. Is that a graphical asset mistake?
We're going to get to it, but he's holding Momo and Momo's
Oh.
with us and Momo's a fake. The fake Momo's with us.
I see.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I
Well,
thought it was a continuity error or something,
Yeah.
but no.
well, if the fake Momo is with us, Chris, how did I get the exclusive Momo tech earlier in the previous episode? Did we fool the video game logic?
Because when the Kirschwasser and Momo had that little moment where they were reading each other's memories, she absorbed all of her information.
Well, that's actually a nice sleight of hand from the video game. Good job, game.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. But if I'm not mistaken, like the catatonic Momo that's been in our party up to this point doesn't do her battle cries when you do things with her.
Well,
She
also,
doesn't
I
say
mean,
mystic power, grant me a miracle.
You could also say that she's, offline or whatever.
Yes.
It's funny you asked that. I had no memory of that, but my next note is Albedo holding Momo here, cradling her in his arms. How did this happen?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're caught up now.
But Momo is also behind Junior, and she puts her hands around his throat and chokes him. I wonder if Junior's into that, Chris.
No.
Fake Momo says some horrific shit to Junior.
I want the me that's inside you.
Yeah.
Let's say that to our wives.
What is the me that's inside your wife?
I think the obvious answer to that is some kind of knowledge pregnancy,
Knowledge pregnancy. Okay.
as far as the Momo context with Albedo.
Yeah.
But the me that's inside my wife, we can get pretty graphic there.
I'm talking about like an Udu version of you and your wife. A conscious, like a different version of you that exists within her, like her complete perception of you.
Walton Goggins from the new Fallout TV show.
Okay. That sounds good. Ding noise, I guess.
Okay.
I don't have an answer.
I didn't really have one either.
That was not a prepared question.
Yeah, that question needs about 38 seconds for proper thought, and we're
Yeah.
not having that much dead air. Our time's too valuable for that.
Yes.
Fake Momo then morphs into a Kirschwasser. Quick question, are Kirschwassers 100 series or are 100 series Kirschwasser? Because these have like the nurse hats on, and I think they are prototypes of 100 series before the official branded minted 100 series.
I thought that was the ones in the Durandal.
But those are 100 series. Those are like fresh minted 100 series,
Okay.
I think.
Then I don't know the answer to your question.
Excellent. Ziggy says that's not Momo, but stops just sort of saying what it actually is, which continues to be frustrating thing characters do in this game. The Kirschwasser then lifts Junior by the throat. Chris, have you ever been legit choked?
By a person?
Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
I have. It sucks.
Oh, God.
First grade, I got beat up in the bathroom. It's okay, we don't have to unpack that. But whenever someone says, have you been choked, which never happens, I always think about that. You can like taste your throat as it merges against itself. I don't recommend it.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. I don't even like when I like get a big hunk of cheese stuck in my throat.
It's basically the same as that. Yeah.
Have you ever had like
cheese throat?
Have you ever had like thick pizza cheese or lasagna?
Mozzarella is what you're thinking of.
Mozzarella cheese that gets stuck in your
And you
esophagus,
start choking.
and then you pull it out, and then you get that weird,
Yep.
that weird inner throat massage.
Cheese massage.
It's cheesemassage.com.
This allows Albedo another opportunity to go on one.
Free from the bonds of flesh, a pure consciousness has no true form. All that exists is the longing for reality.
Chris, is that true?
All that exists is the longing for reality for a... Yeah, if you're not real, then the longing for reality is your reality.
But then how do you know you're not real?
Because
is this,
you
like, is this what a soul is, floating without a vessel?
do you long for reality?
Most of the time, no. I wish I was somewhere else.
Okay, then you're real.
Great. Excellent. Perfect answer. Thank you.
You did it.
Junior screams to the Kirschwasser, a word I love typing over and over again, to get off of him. He exudes red energy, which means he's losing his cool already like 5 minutes into the operation.
Yes, his Super Saiyan powers.
The Kirschwasser is blown backward by this power. So that was relatively easy, and my new suspicion is that Albedo is trying to get Junior angry and angrier until some Incredible Hulk shit happens.
Well, let's just say that Junior has an Incredible Hulk type aspect within him.
Yeah, and that's what Ziggy warned him about, is like, hey, you got to be emotionally mature to handle this,
Yes,
man.
you gotta
I have no emotions. I'm prepared.
pay attention to your spreadsheets.
Momo cocks her head back and kind of sighs, and after Junior does that, like, oh man. Speaking of Momo, Albedo seems to confirm this.
You're witness to his true nature right now. A consciousness desperately struggling to stay alive. Such a pitiful sight. This is unseemly, Rubido.
Chris, if that's true, what does Junior live for? Momo? What is his reason for being, and does he need one? What is his will to power? I'm not sure if I used that correctly, but it sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
Why is he doing this shit?
By the way, the more I think about the will to power in the context of this game, the more I think it's just like some big baby brain shit.
Video games in 2003, yeah.
I'm not talking about just the video game. I'm just talking about like the entire concept.
Oh, you're throwing Nietzsche in the trash.
Yeah, he's a big baby.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah, fuck him. He's a little bitch.
I mean, at some point, whenever you start philosophizing and writing down your thoughts and looking for answers, you're going to get really far up your own ass as you try to explore and expand upon the big idea. You can think you're doing some profound shit while you're actually doing baby brain shit because of how lost you are in the sauce, your own sauce.
What was the original question?
I don't know. Let me read it again.
Okay.
Chris, if that's true, what does Junior live for? What is his reason for being, and does he need one? What's he doing here, other than like Albedo's got some shit?
I think he has some sort of like emptiness or guilt that he's trying to compensate for.
For leaving Albedo behind?
For whatever happened 14 years ago. I think we get more on that later. And that is manifested as Momo.
Okay, so Momo is not a MacGuffin, but the focal point of
Momo
the enshittification of his business.
Momo is a MacGuffin, but not in the context of Junior, yes.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah.
Albedo then addresses Junior directly, calling his behavior unseemly. Momo comes to a little bit and says Junior's name. Albedo responds by rubbing her face with strange purple hand magic.
Yeah, this is another divergence point in the Japanese version. There's no purple hand magic that's going to happen. He just inserts his hand into her torso. Lower torso. It's fucking gross.
Great.
Yeah.
Junior drops the damn dirty ape, but still tells Albedo to get his stinking hands off Momo.
Albedo! Get your stinking hands off of her! Or else I'll...
He then pulls out a pistol and threatens to shoot Albedo with it. Albedo feigns fear for a moment and then says,
You'll do something if I do this.
You mother!
And then he performs jazz hands, Momo face magic even harder.
In the Japanese version, it's important to point out is that he does not do his like hand insertion into her body until he does that. Before he's just waving his hands around.
Oh, just kind of going around.
Yeah, so they kind of initiated that a little bit further. So again, gross. We've talked about it.
Junior then calls Albedo a mother, but omits the fucker as he fires his pistol. It blows off Albedo's arm, which Albedo thinks is hilarious, and I, the player, also think is hilarious.
Yes.
As it regenerates, Albedo monologues.
What pain! So sweet, so alive. Pain is such a vital part of realizing one's existence. Try to remember, Rubido, what it takes, what you must do. Or have you lived in peace for so long that you've completely forgotten?
Chris, is this why Dark Souls is appealing?
Is what?
Pain, part of existence. Feeling resistance, friction in games, a rejection of the modern thesis of accessibility.
I think so, yes.
So is this an adult citing how easy it is for the damn kids these days?
I don't think Albedo's doing that in this context.
No, I think as the writer of this game, is that like, can you ride the commentary like that out of this? Because I think everyone agrees that pain is part of existence and learning how to overcome it is part of maturing as an adult. So what point is Albedo making here? Like, is it ironic because he can't feel pain because his shit gets blown up and he just brings it back?
Maybe so. Like
so he yearns for that pain?
Albedo never externalizes any pain. Like, even if he has some psychological pain, because he obviously has some sort of psychological damage or whatever, but he never externalizes that at all, so we don't know if he experiences it. So, hard to say.
The point of view then shifts to the barrel of Junior's raised pistol. He's so mad he's using more cuss words.
I don't give a damn about what you have to say. Just give her back!
Albedo responds to this threat in a manner identical to how I respond to the gas station clerk who demands I pay for my Twix bar.
Yes.
I don't think so. I'll just take what I want and proceed with my plans. And along the way, I'll make you remember who you really are.
Is our first instance of like there being some sort of secret past from Junior?
We've had flashbacks of Albedo and Junior with Kid Albedo at Song of Nephilim.
We've had the flashbacks, but did we know that there's something missing or something that Junior is... Some piece of trauma that Junior's covered up that we haven't seen as the player?
Don't we know that, I don't know if this is the anime, that Albedo, basically, he left him behind to die, and then, whoops, he's alive?
We don't know that.
Okay, well, I don't think that's in some fiction.
I think that's in the anime, because I don't recall that.
Let's give that a big maybe, Chris. It's been a long season.
No, it hasn't.
Well, then Junior gets even madder as Albedo does more face magic.
Shut up! I don't need some freak contaminated by Udu to tell me.
Okay, so that's new. Albedo is dramatically fucked up because Udu contamination.
Yes.
That's what's gotten into his brain is Udu purple stuff, and that's what is killing planets and threatening the universe.
Allegedly.
Why does UTIC want any of this? Do they want to stop it or empower it or utilize it? We don't know. I mean, there's not enough evidence to know. Just like, what's your gut on that?
We don't know, but I think that...
Maybe it'll work for us?
Udu is some sort of energy to harness, but harness it for what? We don't know.
Shion tries to calm Junior down, but it turns out he actually struck one of Albedo's nerves.
Contaminated? Not quite. More like evolved. I experienced but a fragment of my true power that day. The waves that inundated my body are now a part of me. I've reached a higher stage of existence compared to you incomplete mortals. I am the Alpha and the Omega of perfect consciousness.
I think, like, the reason that Albedo considers himself evolved is because of his Udu contamination.
It's a positive, not a negative. Everyone should have this power.
He considers Udu to be some sort of like godlike essence. There's some sort of holy spirit. He looks at everybody and says, like, I'm saved and you're not.
We should all be down with the sickness.
We should... Yeah, I was going for like a religious metaphor, like I'm saved by God. Have you ever been looked down upon by somebody who is saved?
I've been looked down upon by the singer of Disturbed.
Like in real life?
Yeah.
Like
at a concert, yeah. He literally looked down.
He looked down upon you.
He called me a motherfucker.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Have you ever had somebody assume that you go to church?
Yeah, we're in Kentucky, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
They start talking about God and stuff like we're all in that club, and I'm like, listen, I can recite the Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory Be, all that stuff, but...
I was once having a long conversation with an old guy. I don't know what about. He asked me where I lived or something, and I explained. He goes, "Oh, is that over by such and such church?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Is that where you go to church?" Like making the assumption that I go to church. And I just said, "No, that's not where I go to church." I just said, "No."
Yeah, I mean, you do want to reject that as a person and say, "No, I don't do that shit." But you don't. It's a random.
Yeah, it was like at a cookout or something. Yeah. But the only reason I remember this is because later on somebody was like, "You know who you were talking to?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "That's Jennifer Lawrence's grandfather."
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
5 stars.
I was like, cool.
Ding.
Yeah. I mean, she's a great actress.
So Albedo's villain speech where he said, "Actually, I'm not contaminated. I am improved by this corrupting power."
Yes.
Is that cool and effective or cringe and milady?
Can you explain milady? Milady? Like milady?
Fedora.
Okay. Gotcha. I think that it is the former. I think it is cool and effective, but only from the perspective of like, it gives us a good, like, I think he actually means what he says.
Okay. So he's not studying the blade. He just legitimately thinks this.
Yes. He legitimately thinks that he has reached a higher level of being. And that makes him different from all of the other humans.
Still different.
And all of the other robots as well. Like in our parlance, he's a robot, right?
Human robot.
A human robot.
What the fuck is a human robot?
None of that matters from Albedo's perspective. The only thing that matters is that he gets high on this Holy Spirit shit.
So he had to fall to lose it all. And in the end, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Albedo continues his Momo face magic. Junior, now scared and shaking, has shifted to begging for Albedo to stop it.
Stop doing this.
He's weak, Chris. He's
Yeah.
done.
One more note on the gross Japanese scene. Like at this point in time, the camera is like slowly zooming in towards Albedo from like Junior's POV.
Mm-hmm.
In the English version, or she's kind of leaned back in Albedo's arms because she's kind of like a limp corpse kind of thing.
Limp corpse.
Limp corpse.
Limp corpse.
And in the Japanese version, she's a little bit more upright. And so the way his hand is inserted into her torso is, again, evoking some disgusting imagery.
Awesome.
Again. But this right here is where it is at its most explicit.
Can you draw a line between that and the preponderance of the big floppy tits in Xenosaga 2? I'm sorry, Xenoblade 2, all over the place?
I mean,
like stuff that doesn't play here, or is this deep, more psychologically troubling?
This is more psychologically troubling. Can I draw a line of like why that is? I don't know. It's probably cultural. It's probably like...
That's probably why in Snatcher you can jiggle the woman you're talking to's breasts at will. Not in Snatcherous, Police Nuts, my bad.
This is coming from the country of Lolicon.
Okay. Say no more.
So culturally, it may pass a little bit differently than it did here. Not saying it's good, not defending it, just saying that's why it may exist.
Product of its time.
Yes.
Albedo laughs as purple light particles are now visibly transferring from Momo's head to his glowy hand. He says it's nice, and he asks Junior if he wants to give it a try. Junior says Momo's name again, pulls the trigger, and blows Albedo's head the fuck off.
Oh, this is nice. Don't you want to give it a try?
Magenta light liquid shoots out like in Shadow of the Colossus when you jam your sword into one of those guys. The torso falls forward, but a viscous electronic sound effect plays, regenerating Albedo's head. When his torso swings back up, the head is reattached.
Ew.
That's a pretty cool way to blow off somebody's head. The torso comes back up and bloop, there it is.
Yep.
The gang is very confused, but Ziggy has a new guess.
Impossible. Is that nanotechnology?
Nanomachines?
Son. Chris, they're using vamp technology on Albedo.
Was Vamp able to... Vamp never regenerated his head, did he?
Not his head, but he was the nanomachine healing
Yes.
person.
That was the lore for his vampirism.
His secret. Vampsecret.com.
His doppelganger's secret.
Xion, who remember is a scientist, rejects that thesis.
No. Nanomachines can't work anywhere near that fast, and besides, not even the research laboratories have models with head-regenerating capabilities yet.
Okay, got it. Nanomachines don't work on heads. Thank you.
No head nanomachines.
No.
Chaos, who always knows more than he lets on, has another suggestion.
He's a URTV. Just like Junior.
Xion Fei Fong Wong's it. She demands more. Chaos only replies with a little more.
URTVs. They were created for the express purpose of eradicating Udu.
Xion Fei Fong Wong's the word Udu.
Udu?
We are denied any further lore reasons as Albedo gets back on his shit.
Rubido, you still don't remember? Or could it be fear? You're frightened, is that it? Am I right? I can't blame you. The only thing that matters to you is yourself. Rubido, so cruel. And yet this girl clings to you so dearly. Isn't it pitiful?
Albedo then tosses the bullet necklace on the ground in front of Junior. His charm, Chris.
Yes.
The camera goes back to Albedo, sitting in its throne and cradling the glowing head Momo.
One more layer. Just one more layer, and then I'll have everything inside of her. I'm sure you know what that means, Rubido. Now then, I wonder how much more she can take.
Is Junior mad at the violation of personal space, the stealing of Mizrahi secrets, or the coldness of secret abandoned adult brother molesting girlfriend, child?
I think it's like the latter, like, because this is more in the original scene. This is a much more violent looking, and so he's angry about that. I think. I don't think he necessarily gives a shit about the Mizrahi secrets.
Yeah, that's a good point, but that's the corporate reason he's there.
Well, no, remember, like Junior has like suddenly in the back, 20% of the game has become the main character.
Yeah,
so like we're going to settle his score basically.
Momo screams in pain as we look at the lower half of Albedo's face. Junior screams no again and then goes Super Saiyan, a reference from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh. No! Hey, you want to put the hat on?
No, thank you. It doesn't fit me.
Okay.
Plus, I have lice. Light explodes out of him, and all of our heroes are portrait shot in the negative image. Music, Inner Space plays, and we are looking through a kaleidoscope of cloudy, colorful skies.
Are we seeing Albedo's perspective of him accessing the Y data now?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Like we're seeing like the VR, AR shit.
Gotcha.
I assume this is Momo's memories because Joachim Mizrahi appears in the clouds and begins to speak.
This is the extent of my power. Nobody can stop the events that are about to unfold. All I can do is delay the inevitable for just a while longer. But at the least, I can entrust this to you.
We're in the Y data. You don't have to be vague right now. Don't be vague in the Y data. Tell us the scenario.
Joachim, please continue.
The events are starting to come together. Soon you will meet them. So until then,
More vagueness.
Meet them, meet the events, meet the people.
Meet the...
Who are we going to meet that's them? What is them? Who is them?
Who's he talking to?
I don't know.
Is he talking to Momo?
Probably Momo, yeah. Maybe meet them like her friend, our party.
I think that's true because we're a little bit later we're going to see like imagery of our party, Xion and Cosmos specifically, but like everybody. So yeah, maybe he's got some sort of
scenario to meet all these.
The events are starting to come together. That is a scenario guy line when you say that. So he has a scenario. I don't know exactly. It's still very unclear about like, is he just part of a scenario or a orchestrator of one? But he is very clearly aware of one. Right here. So,
do you know how badass it would be if I was going to die next week, but I was busy constructing a kit that you would find in 10 years to reveal my scenario to you that you're now a part of with special friends that I designed for you to find?
When you put it like that, yes, that would be cool.
It'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. And I think that's what this game is trying to do, is be awesome.
Now we're back in the JPEG room as animated GIFs of cutscenes from this game are cut into circles flying at the camera.
They look like CDs. Like
compact discs.
Like CD bubbles.
Optical media.
Yes.
It cuts to black, and when it comes back, energy explodes out of Junior and knocks Albedo on his butt ass. Seriously, his body basically lifts and then ragdolls behind that throne. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard hit.
He drops Momo in that process, and the gang rushes up to her fallen body. Albedo stands up and, of course, believes all of this is hilarious.
By the way, when Albedo got knocked off the throne, that is when I realized that the cat stretch lady was decapitated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, one thing that you can notice throughout this entire thing is that the knife that he was wielding in the Japanese version is stuck into the...
There's the Kirschwasser?
No, it's stuck into the side of the throne.
Oh, cool. So that's funny that the asset is still there. They were like, I don't know, put that in his hand. We see his point of view, Albedo, and he looks at Cosmos, and then at Xion, and then back to Cosmos, specifically as he says...
I see! It all makes sense now!
What makes sense? That like this is the scenario Mizrahi orchestrated to have the murder robot designed by the innocent scientist along with the URTV brother and the cyborg protector man?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he specifically focuses on Cosmos, but he's also looking at Xion there. And Xion
he goes back and forth like Darth Vader looking at the Emperor and Luke and shit.
So he's whatever he's found in here, he is now understanding the nature of Cosmos, Xion, and their roles in this particular scenario.
Music, that one part of Margulis plays, the part that sounds too similar to Groff, Emperor of Darkness.
Yeah, speaking of.
So nail that point to the wall, Albedo floats in the air and comes to rest on the shoulder of his eggs, Simeon.
I have a whiff right here.
That is Groff music.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is. Like, it hits the exact same.
And he lands on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's doing a thing, so I'm whiffing
here. Hit the fucking button.
Here.
22.
He says, but now, Rubido, how about we enjoy a moment or two together? It cuts to a shot of Albedo in the eggs with a new Kirschwasser seated up front.
How about we enjoy a moment or two together? Come on. Our time has arrived.
The Kirschwasser dematerializes, appearing to get sucked into the control screen.
That was upsetting.
Yeah, did she get absorbed into the eggs? Because of that, it spools up and glows a golden light. So is this eggs feeding on Kirschwassers to power its AI core or whatever this shit?
The only explanation that I have for the reason that this thing is so fucking powerful compared to all the other eggs that we've seen in the game is because it's sucking Kirschwassers into its systems.
Is that like Virgil adjacent of like using these fleshy robot human, not human bodies to power itself?
It is actually, now that you mention it, yeah.
Like I can't stop thinking about like, why was there an entire section about a guy eating these things and now the robot is eating these things, a different brand of these things? And what does it have to say about consuming the flesh of those we feel lesser than us? We're beneath like tools.
Like chickens.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place here with that, but like
no, I'm
there's a
following
line that's connecting.
Yes, I don't know how it connects, but I think you're right.
Battle music plays for the boss battle against Simeon.
Yeah, great. We're going to fight this thing. This entire configuration is dumb. Big robot, taking out fleets, destroyed whale gnosis versus 3 tiny people.
I think we've talked about the name Simeon already of one of Jacob's 6 sons. But did we talk about what it translates to?
No. We talked about potentially being a reference to Simeon, the one that christened Jesus at the Second Temple.
When I Googled it whenever ago, it says, he has heard of my suffering after Jacob's wife Leah, heard that God, heard that Jacob wanted to tap the ass of her sister Rachel.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the suffering robot based on lecherous jealous, I don't know.
Suffering robot based on lecherousjealousy.com.
Another translation points to the name meaning there is sin after someone married someone else outside of their race.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, man.
Well, I like mine better.
This podcast does not endorse
anything in this game.
No, yeah, there you go. Albedo's eggs, it does Psycho Vice P, which is a very cool name, but just kind of a shitty laser ether attack.
Yep.
He also says, frail, you're also frail. I wonder if you will survive the next attack, which, Chris, bosses love telegraphing their powerful attacks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's got Beam Saber as well, Eric, which is a Beam Saber is not a lightsaber, it's a Beam Saber.
Right, completely different.
From Gundam.
He also does aired E, which is air odds. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's aired. I think this is, Albedo says air odds like my dad says oil. Like he says oil. Yeah. And so it's airs.
Ads.
What's... Dodge this. Erds.
Ads.
Come on, entertain me, and then a group laser attack. My strategy is to keep casting boost on Cosmos, then having her pound the shit out of Simeon with 500 damage each time.
Yeah, I think he's mostly susceptible to pierce type attacks, which I had none of those, so I couldn't do any damage to him.
Lovely. At this point, I was doing ether limit 2x damage at the cost of 2x ether to Cosmos as well.
Oh,
so
cool.
She was a powerhouse.
Wow, Cosmos, the powerhouse of the cell.
I know you already said Beam Saber and described it as something from Gundam, but my description is much worse. Yellow Big Boy Sword Attack.
Yellow Big Boy Sword Attack.
Yellow Big Boy Sword Attack.
.com, yes. I realized pretty quickly that I couldn't really do much damage because none of the characters I was using had really great pierce attacks.
Everyone's Toad.
Everyone's Toad.
Everyone's turd.
And so I called my eggs.
How'd that work out for you, Chris?
Oh, it worked out okay. I was doing pretty good, but then he killed me.
Which character was in their eggs? All of them? You put them all in the eggs?
All of them. I did not have Cosmos, so I had Junior, Shion, and Chaos.
You didn't bring the robot that's good at killing to your boss fight?
No, I did not bring the robot. I wanted to use Junior. Oh, I'm sorry. And I wanted to use Chaos because I like him. So
you don't need Shion in this game, do you? You can have a party of whoever you want. You don't have to have main character.
Right, but Shion was extremely effective for me in this back half of the game because I had put a lot of points into her spell ray, and it was just blasting dudes. And she was my main healer for a while up until later. We'll get there. So I died. I walked all the way back to the goddamn Elsa, went down to the eggs hangar, and upgraded some stuff. I put the Gatling guns on Chaos, and I thought about for a minute going to the, I don't think you were allowed to leave, but I thought that for a minute before.
The Dot Colony could help you, I agree.
I could go to the Dot Colony and buy those because there's like 3 or 4 other eggs that you can buy. Like some
news to me, but go ahead.
Some big boy eggs that you can buy. And I went back and I fought him, and I entered my eggs a lot earlier this time and was able to beat Albedo.
You achieved victory.
I did achieve victory. So
congratulations.
Not the most difficult battle in the world, but it did require me to access my egg. I don't know what I was doing wrong with my regular characters. I thought I could.
You were putting them in eggs.
Well, they were going to die. So I don't know.
Shouldn't be afraid of death, Chris.
I just wanted to whack to my heart's content.
After the battle, you can do what I did and run back and save rather than jump into the next battle, which you should absolutely do because who the fuck wants to fight 2 bosses in a row?
Yeah, thanks to everybody who told me to do that on the stream. I appreciate it.
Would you have walked into it again after? Would that have been terrible?
Yeah, based on what you're going to hear me talk about in a minute, yes.
Song of Nephilim, cutscene. Music, Albedo plays. After the battle, Albedo floats down to talk more mad shit. Don't you hate when you beat up a guy and he's fine?
Saw somebody in the Discord the other day call this the win the battle, lose the cutscene.
Yeah,
and good. I seem to remember this happening a lot in many of the Xenoblade games, actually. So
most RPGs, I think.
It's better than a optional win battle. Like there is one, the Margulis battle earlier. You can lose that battle and continue.
Albedo floats back down. Junior looks winded, which is not contextually accurate because we all just use biospheres. But Albedo takes note of this.
Rubido, you're getting closer to your old self. But you're still not quite there yet. You were much stronger than this back then, weren't you?
Albedo's hand glows red and he uses force magic. Chris, are we thinking Junior may have also done some war crimes?
Junior's absolutely done war crimes. Let's take inventory of our party real quick. Who has done war crimes? Junior?
Yeah.
Ziggy?
Ziggy has the regret for it. I don't know if we know that explicitly though, right? Jan Sauer has regrets.
I'm just assuming because he's been around for so long.
Also, he's a mercenary.
Yeah. Do you think Chaos has done war crimes?
For the greater good.
Okay. Shion, probably not.
I don't know, man. She made the murder robot that killed everybody in the office. That sounds like a crime.
You would not be charged International Warfare Tribunal.
In the anime, Cosmos beats up that city pretty. Oh no, that's Encephalon, isn't it? Never mind.
So I'm going to say no for Shion and Cosmos. And who am I missing? Momo has not committed war crimes either. So just Ziggy and Junior, I guess. Good and point. Maybe Chaos.
Junior then goes, what do you call it from the Dragon Ball? Super Saiyan. Oh, never mind. They stole that from Sonic the Hedgehog. Junior gets all the Chaos Emeralds and goes supersonic, glowing red, and damns Albedo as he warns him not to get cocky. From the top down, this shot is framed as Junior's red energy doing a tug of war against Albedo's purple energy.
Yeah, it's another beam cannon struggle.
Energy battle.
Beam struggle.
Who's more powerful? Who can shoot their stream the hardest?
Yes, who can concentrate on their loved ones the most?
We cut out to Guinan. He screams Junior's name, and Mary begs,
Little Master, don't do it!
They can all sense that he's about to unleash his hot fury.
Which the game is telegraphing and foreshadowing very aggressively.
Yes.
Back at the Song of Nephilim, Albedo's Force Lightning is still evenly matched against Junior's Red Energy Anger Sphere Shield. Albedo continues to taunt him.
What's wrong, you Come on, show me what you got.
Chaos, a boy from anime, screams,
Junior, no! Don't do it! Don't play into his hand or you'll...
Junior no-sells that Chrissy's lost, but then we see Momo, still slumped on the floor, open her eyes and come to life. She crawls over to the fallen Kirschwasser. She touches its face, and then it comes to life and presses her hand against Momo's. The Kirschwasser speaks.
Daddy, it was always you who looked at the rest of us. We all wished we could be you.
Chris, I thought this would empower Momo, maybe give her some confidence and warm feelings about her father, but instead she responds,
That can't be true. We're all supposed to be the same.
Chris, is there not equality for robots? Is Momo having guilt over being the chosen daughter?
Yeah, I think she's finally having the realization that her relationship to the rest of the 100 series is kind of fucked up. And I think Albedo's about to explicitly point that out as well.
I was going to say, why else are we learning this if it's not going to be a plot point in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Back to the action. The boys are still in an energy battle as Albedo continues to get on his shit.
Come on, Rubido. Just a little more. Just a little more. Your dreams will be fulfilled. Come on.
I'm pretty sure Albedo is holding back here, just trying to get something out of Junior. Also, why did we fight Simeon? What did that solve?
Nothing.
All right.
Remember Albedo said he wanted to have some fun.
Oh, just joshing around with the boys?
Yes.
Junior screams and gets closer to going supersonic from Sonic and Knuckles, or whatever that's called in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But his energy sphere goes flaccid, and he never blows his load. The camera pans over and we see a third party has entered the energy wars.
Oh no.
It's Momo, blasting golden energy in from the right side.
She's having an anime moment of determination.
And that allows you to blast your own energy in the energy wars?
Yes. To help out.
Right.
Because even though that you've got nothing left, you've got to help out your loved ones.
That's a good point. You can always help out your loved ones more. At least make the effort.
Yes. Even Vegeta did it.
That's true.
No, you wouldn't know that.
Shion can't believe this shit, but Momo speaks to Albedo.
You've taken so much from me. But I was given a part of you, too. A part of you is now within me. So
Chris, do you think that Albedo knew there would be some kind of power transfer shit? It wasn't just a take relationship, it was give and take.
Did he know?
When he was probing inside her shit. Did he know he was going to give some secret information or power?
He has a lot of experience, like probing 100 series.
Yeah.
So he probably knew this was a risk.
Albedo cuts Momo off and responds by mocking her.
So now? So that's why you're doing that?
Momo no-sells Albedo's childish taunt.
why do you hurt everyone? Sisters, they all love something they saw in you. And after all that you put them through, they still believe in you. How can you desecrate their feelings, their hearts?
I have questions about the word desecrate and what that might mean, but more importantly, what could anyone see in Albedo? Why was this guy a magnet for Kirschwassers? Is they like URTVs because father also helped make these? What are we doing?
I couldn't reconcile that particular comment. Like, I don't know what, unless it's some sort of like
children are drawn to abusers that are
they've been
manipulative.
they've been gaslit into believing that he's the reason that they need to exist or something.
The reason for the season.
The will to power.
Anyway, Albedo laughs and responds, "Desecrate, your sisters, look around you." The camera above everyone then scans the room. The bodies of Kirschwashers litter the floor. Albedo continues.
Look around you. Who's the flower that blooms from those corpses? That's right. It's you, Pesh. Everything is just as Mizrahi, your dear daddy, wanted it to be.
Shit.
So that is a destiny trigger that like all these things had to die for her to live? And was that before Albedo went through and serial murdered them? Were they all just iterations on a process that eventually birthed Momo? Is that what he's saying?
I think so. Based on some context later in the game, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's explicitly true. Yeah, I guess like Mizrahi has a scenario and there's some important stuff, but like above all, he's just a Pinocchio dad.
Geppetto.
Yeah. He just wanted to have his little girl back.
He's stuck in his space whale.
Which makes him sort of a tragic figure.
The word daddy inflicts psychic damage on Momo. Albedo checks that with Junior, who then hero swipes as he says,
Bastard. Say any more and you're...
Then Shion, of all people, interrupts and finishes Junior's sentence.
Say any more and you're gonna
Pay for this!
Shion is reminding us that she's the protagonist.
Those girls were toys for your enjoyment. They were all individuals with wills of their own. Yet you...
I wish you would have had a count for every time somebody almost says the subtitle of the game. A will of their own. A will check, a will meter.
That's pretty good.
A will to power.
Yeah.
A power of wills. Maybe when we do the second game in whenever the future, we can check all the time someone is beyond good or evil.
Oh, is that the subtitle?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But then a fucking third party interrupts Shion.
Still spouting that self-righteous crap?
The gang is confused and looks toward the sky. A golden portal has emerged, one that causes Albedo to wonder.
The new guy.
Everyone looks up as a blue-cloaked figure emerges from the door. It's a palette swap version of Red Testament, the dude we saw palling around with Wilhelm all the game. But this one is blue. The Venetian mask also returns, Chris.
Yes. Did you instantly know who it was?
When I first played the game, no.
No, neither did I.
But now I was like, yeah.
I didn't even remember that his identity was revealed later in this game.
Yeah, it's Virgil.
Oh, it's fucking Virgil.
Fucking Virgil.
This is identified later in the game.
Yeah, it's not really a spoiler. We also know they're the same person. When Testaments are somebody, they don't change because Virgil's still an asshole with memories of his past life.
That's true. And we also know that anyone who dies, past or present, becomes a testament, I guess, because we haven't seen anybody die and just die.
That's a good point.
I'm so happy about this, by the way. I didn't know that this was going to happen.
In this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I was waiting for. And Albedo, we're also seeing an diagonal insertion of different scenarios here because Albedo seems to be part of this club when he says the new guy. Like he knew what this was.
Yeah.
So is Albedo a Wilhelm guy or is his destiny to be a Wilhelm guy? To serve under Wilhelm's scenario? Do you think he was invited to the club and offered to die and do this but rejected it for now?
Yeah, I think that Wilhelm is of the highest tier scenario guy in the game thus far that we know of. Even higher than someone like Margulis, who seemed like he has a lot of control over what's going on. And we've already seen Margulis try to wrangle Albedo for his purposes. So I would imagine that Wilhelm's doing the same thing at this point.
Continuing the work.
But Albedo is obviously a
potential rogue element in that too. Like unsuccessfully recruited.
He's a wrench.
Also, this has nothing to do with this. I just want to put it on the podcast. I was looking around in prototype footage and all that stuff of this game, and there is a screen that came out before the game came out of Shion on foot exploring Wilhelm's office.
So like in the damn room?
In his pyramid shit.
Yeah.
So that was like amongst the stuff cut from this game.
Cool.
Virgil, Blue Testament, then addresses Albedo directly.
Stop screwing around. Hurry up and get the job done. Don't waste your time on these.
Do you remember when I told you recently that I was having trouble distinguishing blues and purples suddenly?
Yeah.
This is when it started.
Really?
Yes. Because my notes say purple.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You're hooked in through component on that PS2, right? Yeah. Shit, dude. Albedo turns his back, walking towards Simeon as it lowers. He speaks.
Give him this message. It belongs to me.
Him's got to be Wilhelm, right?
Yeah, that's what I wrote too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Junior screams hold it and rushes forward. Albedo doesn't notice. He doesn't even turn around, but Junior runs headfirst into an energy wall and it's blasted backwards. Blue Testament addresses Junior now.
Hold it!
Where do you think you're going? Hey, why don't you do me a favor and let him go for now? I'll do my best to keep you entertained in the meantime.
So Albedo is... They're letting him do what he wants, hoping it just folds into their plans?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
They have high confidence it's going to play into their scenario.
Yeah, I think that especially with some things that Wilhelm says later, like he's got some wiggle room in his scenario.
Okay.
He needs one particular thing to happen, and regardless of what happens here, they feel confident that Albedo is going to go in a certain direction.
We then go to space as Simeon exits the Song of Nephilim. Albedo looks out into the light of the universe just as the JPEG room flying power disk Windjammer memories spin out of the ether and into the screen. It freezes on a white-hot pink explosion. Albedo waves his hand around, saying,
So this is the Y data.
Out of fucking nowhere, Cosmos' voice is audible.
I do not exist for your pleasure.
What?
Clip art of Cosmos appears on the screen and an irritated Albedo asks,
You call this protection?
So Cosmos is an antivirus software inserted in the Momo memories from the past future?
Yeah, but
resisting the violation of his attempts?
Yeah, and the real weird thing is that a couple of years ago, Cosmos definitely didn't look like this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So this is more of...
Unless like she was a conceptual... The concept art for Cosmos' final form was already out at that point in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that's all as a product of a Mizrahi vision.
Yeah.
We then see a 3D model of Xion, nude except for her glasses, tastefully obscuring her boob chest with her arms. Now Albedo can't believe this shit.
Yeah.
You?
Back in Simeon's canopy, Albedo wonders...
He really didn't want anyone going in there. Oh well, that just makes it all the more interesting. Very interesting.
So now do we have, like, I think we've already confirmed in the past, but I think we now can confirm it visually, I guess, that Xion is a special girl.
Yeah, that she was part of the scenario as well.
Yeah.
I wrote down a bunch of questions to ask you now.
Okay. Have we fought the boss yet? No,
nope.
Nope.
Was that Mizrahi's future prediction protection shit to freak out whoever accessed it? Is that his antivirus thing, is to throw this chaos elements of shit that he knew about the future into it to freak out future Albedo?
No.
Okay. Did Momo add that protection through her recent experiences?
I think that's possible. But
as part of the transfer.
But I would rule that out because we talked about the scene where he said that you will soon meet them or something like that. So
why Cosmos and Xion? Because they're linked?
Well,
why was Xion naked?
But she still had her glasses on.
Yeah. They can't come off her character model.
No, she had her glasses off when she was like going to sleep or something, right? Shit. Once. Yeah. Why Xion and Cosmos? Yeah. I don't think that we can answer that question. It makes the relationship a little bit more interesting that Xion was one of the people picked to work on the Cosmos project.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why did Cosmos address him like a rogue sex robot? I do not exist for your pleasure.
Because Albedo is a rogue sex robot.
All right. Finally, does any of that have any meaning, or was it just to fuck with the viewer or to fuck with Albedo?
I think a lot of this game is designed to fuck with the viewer. And as we learned in Xenogears, most of the kind of slow drip foreshadowing stuff is not an accident. So I don't think it's there just to fuck with us. I think it's there to continually plant seeds.
Serve a higher purpose.
That somebody they want this game to be one that is discussed on a forum.
Takahashi is a scenario guy with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Song of Nephilim playable. I take the elevator up and save, then I go back down to meet Virgil. I'm glad he waited patiently.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Cutscene.
He's got all kinds of good shit to say to us, by the way.
We open on a Dutch angle with Virgil staring down the gang across from the hall. Momo stands separated from everyone else, and I wonder if that's important. Xion asks the most important question, which is,
Who are you?
As music, anxiety plays. Blue Testament does not hesitate to get epic.
Who? What does it matter? Or do you need a name to describe me? A definition by words is merely a means to deceive oneself.
I love that line. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, but I love it.
Virgil continues.
It's meaningless before the truth. What matters is how you perceive things. The slightest shift, then life and death no longer have any meaning.
Chris, our friend Kyle used to have a big argument about perception being the only true reality and that words are just imperfect abstractions to try and describe perception.
He's a testament. He's Virgil.
Our buddy Kyle, it's possible.
Yeah.
We can ask him. Which I believe that, but also perception is not necessarily true reality, so you're also kind of fucked. Also, can you imagine anyone more insufferable than someone who introduces themselves this way at a party when someone else asks their name? Who are you? And you talk, well, actually, who I am doesn't matter, or words are stupid.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Super self-important, right?
Yeah.
Protagonist of reality syndrome. Chris, I hope they get the help they need.
Same.
Chris, I think he's saying none of this old shit matters and he's someone different now. This me, the new me. So should we stop dead naming Virgil?
I don't think he's changed his name. But I do think that you're right. Like, this me is the new me for him. But is it?
Does it matter?
Because don't you remember all the fun shit that he said when he was still alive?
Yeah, that's a good point. He's still going to keep saying fun shit. Shion can't believe this shit, but Blue Testament thinks she doesn't get it. Blue Testament offers to show her, but then Junior rises up and asks nicely to get out of his way, then screams for Blue Testament to get out of his way. Blue Testament no-sells all of this aggression, telling Junior,
I said get out of my way!
Ah, you've got guts, boy. Why don't you make me move? Shouldn't be a problem for a URTV. Now should it?
So is the URTV thing like not supposed to be public knowledge for Junior? In his perception of self? I mean, are people not supposed to know about that shit? Could it harm the business?
I'm going to say that people are not supposed to know about that shit because a lot of times, like in this game, I don't know how many times, but when someone mentions the name of the URTV and says, oh, Junior, you mean that URTV, you know what I mean? Like
that motherfucker.
That information appears to be privileged.
Junior tells Blue Testament that he's damn right, which prompts Blue Testament to materialize into his own eggs, Ein Rugel.
Do you think that's an eggs?
What else would it be?
I think it's...
All robots in this game are eggs, aren't they?
I don't think it's a robot. I think it's like a heavenly material, biblically accurate angel thing that he summoned.
Jesus.
Or transformed into.
Did you Google what Ein Rogel, however that's actually pronounced, means?
Yeah, it's...
Well of Job, a spring on the outskirts of Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's what I have as well. Did you look at his goddamn swords?
I've got fencing eggs, 2 thin swords, moderate white and blue armor, very tall, 2 horns on head, circle thing with 3 blue, yellow, and red jewels rotating behind it, bayonetta-ass enemy.
There you go. A bayonetta-ass enemy. It's not an eggs. It's a bayonetta
it's a fucking
enemy.
Angel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After this battle, I think he said something about like how the laws of reality don't apply to both of them the same.
I'm going to say that next time I rob a bank.
I think he's more talking about like space-time and stuff like that, but yes.
Yeah, how I'm going to rob a bank. This is space-time bullshit. I need your fake money.
Okay.
Boss fight, Ein Rugel, battle music, regular battle music. Chris, it does a lightning blast to group attack.
Yeah.
Does a party-wide physical debuff. Fuck me. Any thoughts before the transformation?
My note is he turns into Ein Rugel, the sickest fucker.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, you know? He really
Both
is.
like sick fuck and then as in this looks sick as fuck and this sick fuck because this man's so depraved.
Both, yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
The rare sick fuck multi-definition idolization boss. What?
Yes.
Okay, so as alluded to, it transforms into a gargoyle bird thing, Doppelwoggle.
Yeah, armor wings, got summonable bow and arrow.
Did you Google Doppelwoggle?
Yeah, I just got Xenosaga entries.
Yep. I think it's like a doppelganger. I don't know. Every attack I try does 100 damage. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, this is a really difficult battle. I felt very, very good. I felt like I've got this fucker dead to rights because I'm whittling his health down. But then he starts doing the combination of a thing called Flare Wing.
Is that the bow and arrow that comes out of light?
No, that's just no. Flare Wing is when he takes all of your ether defense down. Anti-veil type attack. And then he does a move called Eternal Storm, which will really wreck your shit. If you get a turn with I had Chaos. If you get a turn with Chaos, in between those two things, you can use Purifying Storm to restore your statuses. But if you don't, you're going to die.
Can I tell you something fun?
You died.
No.
Okay.
Not in this game.
You didn't know there were status effects.
I don't pay attention to those.
Okay.
Chaos has something called Demon Banisher.
Yeah.
Which inflicts curse. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't know where you're going with this, but I did get that, and I used it just to see the animation, and I really like the animation of it. He like draws a tree of Sephiroth in the sky and then does things.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I did that, and it worked on the 3rd try, and when it used Eternal Storm on me, it made it kill itself.
Wow, that's cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Using mechanics to manipulate the video game is nice, especially when the game doesn't have a lot of thought put into the final execution of the battle system.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the first version of this, the Einrugel or the Doppelwobble.
Doppelwaffle House.
But they do also do like the attack lock stuff where like you can't use the triangle button and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I did end up extracting that skill and putting it on there on a subsequent attempt. But I had him down to 400 some odd hit points, and
Did he beat your ass into the shit dirt again?
I was almost dead, so I was like, well, I better call the eggs.
Better get in the eggs. Yeah, that always works. What happened?
And I had to... I was saving up for a whacked. I needed one whacked to win,
to your heart's content, right?
Yeah, basically about 450 damage, which was fine. And I did it. I did the move, and
Destiny worked,
and it missed again.
Oh,
just
Destiny
like
did not work.
Just like against the Gygus, the Gigas, if you will.
So did you lose?
And so I was like, all right, I'll be fine for one more round.
Great, this is Destiny. This round.
Then the Doppelwoggle did his secret move that I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
But later learned that he will do this move to an eggs if it has less than 500 HP.
I wouldn't know. I don't use eggs.
It's called engine stop.
Oh.
And it stops the engine of your eggs and sends you to the game over screen.
Great.
Please enjoy an extended sample from Crisp's stream of this moment in the video game.
Eat shit. Oh, why does this always happen? Engine stop. Engine stop. Engine stop. Engine stop. That's the second time this has happened. Where I had a killing blow, it missed, and then I died. I was very upset about this. I sat there and said, engine stop, over and over again for about 5 minutes straight.
Oh, psychic damage was high.
And then I played Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, that was that night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. What a beautiful journey, Chris.
And so I ended my stream with Shadow the Hedgehog that night, and then came back the next day and did a little bit of tweaking. You know, I wish I would have written down the name of the person who said this, but I was sitting there tinkering with my eggs and equipment and stuff. And somebody said, this must be what an Armored Core stream looks like, because I was like in the menus for like
just
30
tinkering
minutes.
with junk?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I went back and I was a little bit beefier that time and a little bit more prepared for it. And I was able to defeat this motherfucker.
Well, join us next time to see the following cutscene with more hot Virgil action.
But first, let's consult the RealNet.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you. 78 says, I've thought about this for a while, but Eric's posture always seems to belly a hidden action, as though he could, at any moment, he could leap across the desk and throttle Chris.
This is the only chair I sit in like this that has armrests, so I don't know what to do with myself. Like, none of my other sitting chairs have armrests.
Oh, well, you mean I can take them off?
No, that's okay.
That one only has one armrest. I can replace it. Cliff Racer says, I think we missed getting another Xenogears whiff from the tone-locked door puzzle. I don't remember a tone-locked door puzzle in Xenogears.
I don't know if there was. I have a memory of one, but I don't know if that was just incepted in.
78 says, I mean, a Junior's whole thing is borderline to begin with. He's a man in a boy's body, and his girlfriend is what exactly? A robot girl? But how girl is girl? I wish this game didn't make me think about this. I agree.
How girl is a question I do not like to ponder.
Yes. Cliff Racer says, I love Shion's relative nonchalance about this. It's not that's impossible. It's we've got people working on that, but we haven't achieved it even under laboratory conditions, in reference to nanomachines regenerating heads. 78 says, I'm liking Chris's chaos literally just zooped into existence theory more and more.
It fits. It always fits. He always has the least to say. Like, he only speaks when the scenario starts to veer rapidly off course.
Yeah. By the way, this whole game for me became worth it because of what chaos does in the ending.
Yeah, that too.
Which is very little, but still.
I want something from Albedo to be like, who the fuck is that guy? Like he's never seen him before.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't part of the expected thing.
But he was in the Y data. Eric Venine says, is Alan included in the scenario? Nope, don't think
Never.
so. Now Alan has his own scenario. 7-8 says, Albedo would fit right in a Saints Row game. I've only played Saints Row 3, so I don't know.
I've played 2, 3, and 4, but I don't have any memories of them.
I have a lot of memories of 3, so I think he would work.
4 to me played like the ultimate kind of ROM hack. Because it was 3, but you could fly and do superhero crackdown shit.
Yeah. There's a Zohar in the Saints Row reboot.
Ding. Favorite Volition game is obviously Red Faction Guerrilla.
Never played Red Faction Guerrilla. WP says, gotta have some gameplay to break up the cutscenes. I agree.
Yeah, that whole episode was a room.
1 room, 2 battles. Cliff Racer says Shion is the protagonist because she's constantly making herself the protagonist. Because is emphasized there, so it's like I get that. That makes sense. It's like when Victor was trying to be the protagonist of Suikoden 2 for a while. Except for he failed ultimately. Cliff Racer says, rest in peace, Sharon Cobb. Episode 1 isn't even over and we've already forgotten about him.
I do wonder if this entire game will ever reference him again. What if his hat's backwards and he says, my name's Drew now? Drew Trank.
Cliff Racer says that you can steal an item from the previous mini-boss. I think that was the Gnosis one. Somewhere in the Song of Nephilim.
I mean, you can steal an item from...
It blocks all status effects.
Oh, nice. Good.
Eric Venine, who was present at the stream where I lost to Virgil, said that you could hear my head blue screen.
Good. Chris goes offline.
Yes. By the way, Eric Venine dropped in on the stream the other day when I was going to beat the game and said, I'm here to see how many game overs it takes Chris to beat the game. And I had 0 game overs, you motherfucker.
Spoilers.
We love Eric Venine.
Apologize to Eric Venine.
We love you, Eric Venine. I'm just kidding. But I did have 0 game over. I beat the game. I also had Eric Kaiser, so, you know. All right, everybody. Thank you for your contributions to the podcast tonight. We'll see you in the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia. This episode has been a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on January 10th, 2024. You can find us on the emails at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com or on Twitter @retroamnesiapod, which I think now is a video platform.
What? Sorry, I blinked out.
I think Elon Musk said that Twitter is going to become a video primary platform like TikTok.
Okay, yeah, great. Pivot to the next thing.
Yes, and then also you're going to be able to send payments through it too. So
it's going to AI.
I'm going to start paying you the podcast, your half of the podcast money with X now.
Bitcoin, Ugg boots.
Yes. We're on Blue Sky at Retrograde Amnesia. We're on YouTube at Retrograde Amnesia, where you can watch me stream or listen to the podcast or leave a comment on your favorite episode of the podcast. Also, we're on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam, where you can get bonus episodes, miniseries, and access to the real net, and the ability to vote on future seasons and stuff. Thank you, Mark, for the introductory music.
Chris, yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, World Sin, for the podcast artwork. Until next time, Eric.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Sayonara, baby.
You know, we haven't really had any like robot discourse in this game in a while.
What do you mean? We talk about robots every episode.
No, I mean like discourse about like their feelings and stuff. I guess we kind of tangentially.
What is, Chris? Diablo 4?
Diablo 4 is very much a empty your brain game. Like you can just like your brain. If you don't want to fill your brain up with shit, then play Diablo 4. It's the opposite, I think, of Baldur's Gate 3, which is part of the reason why I fell off of Baldur's Gate 3. One, it's not a good Steam Deck game, in my opinion. I like mouse and keyboard on that game. Two, like there's a lot of inventory management and thinking and,
real fun
and
stuff.
decision making, things that I really like, but I need to be in the right mind space for it. Diablo is always just like, I'm going to make blood lances with my necromancer and throw them at skeletons.
So Diablo has a fewer than 20% sync ratio necessary for...
Oh yeah, for sure,
okay.
sure. I mean, you do need to like look at your gear and stuff like that, but I'm not playing like a high level, like, you know.
Could you dumb that down to easiest difficulty and just hit shit?
Yeah.
All right.
The default difficulty is that. You just hit shit. I'm going to pick what skills I think are cool. I'm not going to look at any guides or anything. I'm not going to like try to min-max this and be super efficient. and it works fine on the default difficulty. I think when you get to the higher difficulties is when you need to start dealing with all that stuff, and I don't want to deal with all that stuff.
No.
I deal with enough of that kind of stuff just in my daily life.
I ain't here to look at numbers. Play this damn video game.
What do I do about calluses? Do I just let them grow?
On your feet?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I'm not going to take my sock off.
No, you can just describe to me. I'm familiar with feet.
It's right here on the the inside of my toe, big toe, on both of them.
I would say if it's on your Achilles, that's a problem. But toe cal, I mean, that's just the way I am now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was just going to be.
This is what your feet look like now.
I can't remember, but at some point she asked me, "Don't you just love running?" And I said, "Fuck you, no, I don't love running."
Great time to ask.
No, I don't.
It only took me 10 years to love it. You've got plenty of time to figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, I like it when I'm done with it, but...
Junior drops the damn dirty ape line, but still tells Albedo to get his stinking hands... I fucked up my own pun that I wrote.
Yeah.
And that allows you... You want to keep going? You want to finish this?
Yeah, let's finish this whole...
Thing?
Yeah.
This one room for the whole show? This is the extent of my power. Nobody can stop the events that are about to unfold. All I can do is delay the inevitable for just a while longer, but at least I can entrust this to you. Did you see that, Mapesh? Your witness to his true nature right now, a consciousness that's really struggling to stay alive, such a pitiful sight. This is unseemly rubido.